Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another Historic Brawl gameplay video, and today we are playing the first Brawl deck that have been nominated by my patrons. I say nominated by my patrons, I only have 3 at the moment, so I gave the first one who joined up the opportunity to pick our first Brawl deck. It will be going to a poll normally, but since I only have 3, I did give the opportunity to him. So a special shout out to Mihal, who was my first patron, and also a shout out to Arcadius, who is my other Planeswalker tier patron at the moment. So today we are playing Magda, Brazen Outlaw, 2 mana, 2/1 from back in Kaldheim. Other dwarves you control get +1/+0. It says whenever a dwarf you control becomes tapped, create a treasure token, then sack 5 treasures, search the library for an artifact or a dragon card, put that card on the battlefield, then shuffle. So that's a very, very powerful ability. You do need 5 treasures. And obviously Magda can help you get there. But so the deck is obviously made up of dwarves and dragons and artifacts that we want to fetch up. So first off, we have dwarves. Now, there aren't many dwarves in Arena. There aren't a huge amount in Magic overall, but there's less in Arena, and most of them are pretty rubbish. So we have got a few changelings as well. So Universal Automaton, 1 mana, 1/1 changeling. Axguard Cavalry, a 2 mana 2/2, but can tap to give target creature haste instead of turn. That's really good to give another dwarf haste. But obviously, it does tap itself, which means we will get a treasure from Magda. Then 7 copies of 7 dwarves, a 2 mana 2/2. This creature gets +1/+1 to each other creature named 7 dwarves you control. A deck can have up to 7 cards named 7 dwarves. So ideally, we kind of want to go turn 1 at something, turn 2 7 dwarves, turn 3 Magda. Then we can attack with the 7 dwarves. Will be a 3/3, get a treasure, and go on from there. And obviously, the more 7 dwarves we have, the bigger they get. Vault Robber lets us tap, pay 1 on tap, exile creature card from a graveyard, create a treasure token. Again, taps themselves, but obviously requiring having a creature card in a graveyard that we want to exile. Let's move that out of the way. Plundering Barbarian, 3 mana 2/2. When it enters, we either get a destroy target artifact or create a treasure. Torian Mauler is a really powerful changeling, 3 mana 2/2 changeling, so it counts as everything. Dragon as well, so we can fetch it if we want to, but we don't. And then whenever opponent casts a spell, we may put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. That Automaton we've seen quite a lot recently because it came out in Foundations and got a lot of look in tribal decks. 3 mana 2/2, when it enters we choose a creature type. It is that creature in addition to its other types, and other creatures we control of that type get +1/+1. Bloodline Pretender, very similar. We choose a creature type. It doesn't actually become the creature type, I don't think, but then whenever another creature we control of a chosen type enters, put a +1/+1 counter on the creature, although it's got changeling, so of course it's a creature. Faceless Agent, again, 3 mana 2/2 with changeling, and when it enters we seek the most prevalent creature type in our library, which is a dwarf. Then Torbrand, 4 mana 2/4. If a red source we control will deal damage to an opponent or permanent opponent controls, deals that much damage +2 instead. Then I have included Master Nexus in here. 4 mana artifact. Creatures we control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells we control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. So basically every creature card in our deck, or when we play it on our battlefield, is everything, including a dwarf. And then we can pay 3 and tap it to create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature token with changeling, although that changeling bit is a bit redundant because Master Nexus makes everything, although it does stick around obviously if the Nexus gets destroyed. So next up we have dragons, and these are the big things we want to fetch up. At Sushi, Bonehull Dragonsaur is just so powerful. Goldspan Dragon also has treasure synergy. Terror of the Peaks, really, really powerful. Twin Flame Tyrant doubles all our damage. Balefire Dragon is a board wipe as well as a dragon. And then Drakaseth, More Flames, is just super, super powerful. And next up we have the artifacts we want to fetch out of Magda. Jamil the Inner Sun, Godfarrow Statue to basically annoy our opponents. Immortal Sun to buff our board, reduce the cost of our spells, buff our creatures, cause to draw an extra card, and it turns off Planeswalker's loyalty abilities. We don't have any Planeswalkers, so it's really, really powerful, especially if we're playing against something like Elspeth, which obviously is a Planeswalker. Then Meteor Golem as removal and Portafrexia as additional removal. Now, before we go on to the rest of the deck, what I find interesting having played this is you can probably get rid of all of these apart from Portafrexia and maybe Immortal Sun. Balefire Dragon if they've gone wide, and Meteor Golem if they have a troublesome permanent you need to remove. You could basically get through everything else and just get one of these 4, keep these 4, go cheaper, maybe throwing some more dwarves or additional ramp, because the reality is 90% of the time you're choosing Portal Phyrexia. If you're playing against a Planeswalker, you're choosing Immortal Sun. If you're playing against a ball that goes wide, you're getting Balefire Dragon, and then Meteor Golem if you need to destroy one thing in particular. And so everything else is just a bit gravy, and if you draw them, they are quite annoying to have. And next up, we have some basically treasure synergies, basically ways to get treasures. Cinder Smite is a 1 mana deal 2. If we weren't the starting player, we create a treasure. Diamond Pickaxe is great. 1 mana equipment, equip 2, equipped creature gets +1/+1, and when this creature attacks, create a treasure token. So because that's an attack trigger, and obviously we tap a creature to attack, we're essentially getting 2 treasures because of Magda. Goldhound is just a treasure. Ragavan, because it's Ragavan, creates treasure, so it synergizes with a deck, but also it's a red deck. We're playing Ragavan. Sticky Fingers is similar to the Pickaxe, but it's an enchantment. It's an enchant creature, has menace, and when it deals combat damage to a player, we create a treasure token, and then when the enchanted creature dies, we draw a card. Striker Rich, 1 mana, create a treasure, we can flash it back for 3. Charming Scoundrel, when it comes down, we have a choice. We'll be choosing create a treasure token. Regular Bankbuster is a vehicle, so we can tap our creatures to crew it, and one of the sneaky ways to power up Magda is ways to tap your dwarves without attacking, because you might not have a good attack, and obviously crewing the Bankbuster or other vehicles is really good, but then we can pay 2 and tap the Bankbuster, remove a charge counter from it. It has 3 charge counters to draw a card, and then if there are no more charge counters, we do create a treasure and then a pilot as well. Treasure Map, just pay 1, tap and scry 1, where then if there's 3 or more landmark counters on it, we can transform it, and when we do, we create 3 treasures. Fable and Mirror Breaker, the first level, creates a 2/2 Goblin Shaman that when it attacks, we create a treasure. Season Spoil, discard a card, draw 2, create a treasure. Zorn doubles up our treasures. Big Score, draw 2, create 2 treasures. Pirate's Pillage, draw 2, create 2 treasures. Unexpected Windfall, draw 2, create 2 treasures. It's really weird how there's so many cards that do fundamentally the same thing, and they sometimes just whiff between instant or sorcery back to instant, but they all cost 4, they all do the same. Varen Back Again is a saga from Lord of the Rings. First one, up to target creature can't block as long as you control this saga, doing Temperature. Then we search the library for a mana card, put on the battlefield, then shuffle. Then we create Smaug, a legendary 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying, and when Smaug dies, create 14 treasure tokens. That's really, really powerful. And then Spiteful Banditry is a board wipe, 2 and an X, and when it enters, deals X to each creature. Then when 1 or more creatures our opponent controls dies, we create a treasure token, but it only triggers once each turn. So sometimes, because Magda's only got 1 toughness, we are happy taking out our Magda because we know we're going to get a treasure, and then we can just replay Magda next turn. And next up, we have additional ways to tap creatures. Springleaf Drum, tap to tap an untapped creature, add 1 mana of any colour. Smuggler's Copter, crew 1, so any of our creatures can crew it. Cultivator's Caravan, crew 3, but it's also a mana rock. And then Relic of Legends, we can tap a legendary creature, add 1 mana of any colour. Next up, other just ramp, Chrome Mox, Mox Amber, Arcane Signet, Ruben Medallion, and Hazaret's Monument. And a bit of removal, Lightning Bolt, Spikefield Hazard, Braid, Stoke with Flames, Convoke, taps our creatures, and Shatter Skull Smashing. And then just other good stuff. Goblin Engineer, when it enters, we search a library for an artifact, put it into a graveyard, then shuffle. Then we can pay 1, tap it, sack an artifact, such as a treasure, return target artifact card in mana value 3 or less from a graveyard to the battlefield. So we can do this to get a Relic of Legends or, Caravan, or, that's probably what we're really going to get, or some of our ramp, but it's a good way to get things that can tap our creatures onto the battlefield. Tap our creatures without attacking. Thorn of Amethyst, non-creature spells cost 1 mana cast. We do have a lot of non-creature spells, but we have a lot of creature spells as well, and obviously we're going to be getting creatures out through Magda, so that doesn't really make a difference. Rising of the Day gives our creatures haste, and legendary creatures we control get +1/+0, so we can attack in with our dwarves the time we play them. Valakut Awakening is a land, but we can also put any number of cards from our hand or the bottom of our library, then draw that many cards +1. And then Roaming Throne, named dwarf, double up our treasures. We'll double up our triggers, which doubles up our treasures. With Roaming Throne and Zorn, we will double up our triggers, and each trigger will give double the treasures, so that's pretty bonkers. Mana base, as you'd expect, mostly mountains. We'd have Cavern of Souls on dwarves, Fountain Port, which can create treasures, and we can sack tokens to draw. Nykthos, because we're in a monocolour, and then Dwarven Mine. If it enters play untapped, and it enters play untapped, we can draw 3 more mountains, we do create a dwarf. Castle Embereth, we can just buff our board. And then Arena of Glory, we can exert it to add 2, and then if that man's spent on a creature spell, it gets haste that turn, so we can haste in and take Magda. And if you're smart and you can play it, if you can play multiple creatures, you don't have to spend those 2 mana on the same creature. So you could put 1 red into a Magda, 1 red into, say, a 7 dwarves, and they'll both have haste. So that's the deck. It is quite powerful when it goes off. It is one of those cards, I think it works much better in Commander, where you are not the sole target. because in Brawl, all your opponent's removals going on your commander, and it being a 2/1 means it's very easy to remove and very hard to attack through things. But sometimes you can just get 5 treasures out pretty quickly, get a Portrait of Phyrexia, and then you're laughing. And when that happens, it is really, really fun. So big shout out to Mihao again for choosing this deck. Going forward, when the number of patrons grows, it'll be going to like a proper a proper poll on the Discord. Not all the time. Sometimes there'll be commanders I want to play, especially when a set first comes out. But I might do a poll of the commanders that from a new set. So look forward to those. There is a link to the Patreon down in the description of this video and the description of the channel. If you want to support the channel more, I'd really, really appreciate it. But if you don't, please do remember to like and subscribe. It does really, really help the channel. And please comment. Tell me when I'm playing badly, which is all the time. Comments help the algorithm, even if they're not particularly nice comments. But yeah, really enjoy the deck. Hope you'll enjoy it too, and I'll see you all in the gameplay. Well, we have removal for Ragavan. That's what we wanted. There is the Shooping Monkey. They had something. Well, let's get down the 7 dwarves. Do you have a bolt of your own? They do. Or an Holy Heat. I'm worried they dash Ragavan in. Oh no, they can't. Well, they would need a land to do it. If they do, we will block with Magda. Does every red deck play Screaming Nemesis now? Great, 2 treasures. I've played land, haven't I, yet? If our Zorn and Magda survive, we can Plundering Barbarian to create a treasure. It doesn't look like he's going to survive. Let's play this on Dwarf. So next turn, we can get up to 5. No, we can't. Well, let's get a Plundering Barbarian. And create a treasure and a 7 dwarves. And then we can replay Magda. Create 2 treasures. And then We'll see what we get. Or we can get. One, two, three, four, five. Portal's probably a really good choice. Well, let's get our Magda back. Play out our 7 dwarves. And yeah, opponent scoops. Poor Phyrex only on 1 creatures probably wasn't entirely worth it, but Screaming Nemesis is so hard to deal with, especially for mono red where most of your removal is damage based. We go first. Tomon Ragavan's always pretty good. Let's see what they do. Well, let us get in. I think we get out of 7 dwarves. What next? Oh. Let us Magda. Create a couple of treasures. That's just a land. And then yeah. Put it back in the command zone. Ooh. Shocking, the Shatter Skull smashing. Now we do have 5 treasures. So we can get something, maybe a God Pharaoh statue. And yeah, our opponent scoops. Once you get 5 treasures, there's a lot we can get. Maybe, you know, even Immortal Sun's pretty good. Roxanne, not a great matchup for us because Roxanne can just kill our commander. But hopefully we can get some treasures going. We'll turn 1 automaton. And yeah, let's go down and Mox Amber. Just the Mind Stone. We will Magda. And then yeah, attacking with our automaton, which gets us a treasure. Then we will strike it rich, gets us another treasure. If they show us something we can smite, we can get a... Well, what we could do then... And then, this is a sorcery. We're up to 5 treasure. Trying to think of my deck list. I think we can get Balefire Dragon. Could have got God Pharaoh statue. Yeah, let's do it now. Or we just get a portal. Or Dracoseth. There's a lot of things we could get. Let's get portal, because then we can just get their Stomper back. Or Magda. We will decline. Oh, give our board haste. Get a few more treasures. And obviously they can take out Magda again, but we can just get her back again. There and back again. With a Lord of the Rings, well, Hobbit reference technically. Yeah, we'll just get back Magda. And let's swing in, create a lot of treasures. And yeah, our opponent scoops. We could have got, well, anything really. So against a tally, we need to be quick off the bat. Cinderscone Smite doesn't do a huge amount, but it's still better than nothing, I suppose. No other dwarves. Well, there is a dwarf. Well, let's get down Magda then. Because we can create a treasure with the scoundrel. That's kind of annoying. So the question is, do they block? They do. I'm okay with that. Would like a fourth land. I suppose we can... Oh, that's... Where's a fourth land? See, we don't have any other dwarves. I think we unexpected windfall. I suppose we can do that on our opponent's turn, can't we? I'm going to pack the engineer because we can get a ramp artifact. Let's get the caravan. There you go, digging for a land. Presumably another forest. I was just trying to work out stuff. Oh, medallion's pretty good. Take out the Bramble Familiar. And we'll swing in. I doubt they block. Oh, they're taking out our Ruby Medallion. Kind of annoying that counts as a creature before it even has enough devotion. Is there a way for us to... This will put us at 2. Play that. Crew 3. No. See, the Masterwood Nexus makes all our creatures dwarves. So they play a tally. The question is, what do they get? Ooh. Chimil. And a Roman throne. I think we are done. Well, this is a too slow hand. This is better. Although I'd like the Balefire Dragon in my deck. We'll play out 7 dwarves turn 2. Oh good, Authority of the Consoles. Consoles, not consoles. There is Sithis. Well, Zorn and Roman Throne basically do the same thing. And we'll probably get a portal. Unless we're something that can... Well, actually, let's get a Mortal Sun. Oh, on Zorn. on Dwarf. So we essentially get the same thing as a Zorn. And next turn we can just Meteor Golem. So what do they... Well, it's got to be Magda, hasn't it? We'll just get a portal. Let's create a treasure. And we can get another scary creature next turn. I wish our Meteor Golem was in our deck. Wish our Balefire Dragon was in our deck as well. But I think we just get Drakuseth. But now, yeah, we Meteor Golem away to Banishing Light and create 1, 2, 3 times 2, 6, 12 treasures maybe? I don't know. Something like that. And but obviously Drakuseth is just lethal by himself. We're just going to be up against loads of removal, so not a great matchup for us. Right. That's Embereth and 7 dwarves. Obviously we know we're going to be up against lots and lots of exile. Remove, discard. I would really like some lands. Well, there is a land. We'll just put in the play tapped. I discard 2, Stoke the Flames and Atsushi. Well, I think we just go to combat. We do miss out on a damage. But we can get a Godpharaoh statue. Or Port Phyrexia if I play out Turgid.
You should know I have standards, and I've yet to find an enemy. Please behave yourselves.
We'll get an Immortal Sun. Because that turns off Davriel. And let's crew. So we just create a treasure. We'll get rid of a discard and a braid. And we just actually have lethal. Yep, that'll do it. Relic of Legends with Magda's alright because it lets us tap her without having to attack with her. Why do we have a annoying habit of drawing Bayfile Dragon? Well, that was a decent draw. We'll do that now so we can attack with Magda. And next turn, we can get probably get a Dracosaur down. It doesn't really matter. But let's put it on Dragon, seeing as there's more. Well, double pipped cards. I don't really have any draws with double red. That's why I said I didn't get that Ocelot Pride. Oh, that's a bit annoying, but it does mean we can potentially grow Magda out of Spiteful Banshee range. Well, 1, 2, 1, 2. We should be able to do this. Just for one. We will attack down Elspeth because the static ability still triggers even if we get the Immortal Sun. And yeah, we'll do it now. And obviously lets us cast our spells cheaper, draw extra cards. And yeah, turning off their commander of Immortal Sun is always quite powerful, even though the static ability would still remain. Well, this is a unkeepable hand. So is this. Hopefully, Spell Boundary may be able to pick off a mana dork or two. I'm not playing out my 7 dwarves because I'm going to probably ban Retreat for 2 next turn. Doesn't mean we lose a treasure. Play out Paradise Shield or something. Come on. Putting Crater Hoof away. Well, nuts. Leaf can Druid having 3 toughness really screws over a bit there. Well, we can clear the way. I hope we draw a land for Magda. That's not a land. So the hope. Oh, what do they destroy? It's not the end of the world. Well, we should be able to get our portal next turn. Yeah, let's just get Portal. Well, there's a tally. Okay. Do we hoof there it is? Oh, I should have played that Strike It Rich. All the climbers go back with Portal. As if we're still alive. Ooh, don't attack at all. And yeah, our opponent scopes. We attack with, well, 7 dwarves and a crater hoof. Get 3 more treasures. Probably get a meteor golem to destroy. Probably Vorinclex, seeing as if they drew a land, they could replay a tally. But yeah, opponent scopes anyway.